First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I want to talk a little bit about this next selection we're going to perform. It's from the opera Peter Grimes by Benjamin Britten. And it's probably the most current work that we'll be performing tonight. And one that is not exactly, you wouldn't call it conventional opera. Neither would Benjamin Britten, the composer. The opera was composed in the mid-40s, first performed in 1945. And its composer, Benjamin Britten, just passed away in 1976. So this is fairly recent in terms of literature for opera. I want to tell you a little bit about the story of Peter Grimes. It takes place in a fisherman's village on the east coast of England. And it takes place in approximately 1830. Peter Grimes is a fisherman. He's a difficult fellow, not the kind of person that's easy to get along with. He's reclusive, he's stubborn, he keeps to himself, and that's the way he wants it. And because of that, it only creates fodder for the village people, the townspeople, to castigate him, to not treat him very nicely, to spread gossip and rumor about this man. It's kind of what society does. It rejects those who want to be rejected. Like I said, Peter Grimes probably wouldn't want it any other way. He wants to be left alone, but unfortunately, when the opera begins, this can't be so, because Peter Grimes is on trial. He's on trial because the boy apprentice, who's about 10 years old, who accompanies him on his fishing voyages, died on the last voyage. Of course, the townspeople want to spread all kinds of rumors. Peter Grimes murdered the boy, all this. So there's a trial, and that's where the opera opens. Peter Grimes is wanting to be vindicated for this crime that he's accused of. But because there's no evidence to support Peter Grimes doing anything wrong, the judge publishes an open verdict and says that the boy died by accidental circumstances. Of course, the town is outraged because they want to sink their teeth into Peter Grimes and have something to accuse him of. It also angers Peter Grimes, who wants nothing but a trial to be able to find the truth and prove his innocence. He's desperate to have people believe that he did not do wrong. Ellen Orford, who is the school teacher, a widow, is probably Peter Grimes' biggest supporter. They have strong affection for each other. There's actually a budding romance there, and I think both of them would like to get married someday. But because of all the gossip in the town and all the disquieting events, it's not very easy to do. Her solution to Peter Grimes' problem is to be patient. Wait. Don't have to prove your innocence. You don't have to rush out to sea and fish and do all these things to prove that you're an upstanding fellow. Peter Grimes' solution is to go get another boy apprentice as soon as he can, go out to sea, fish the sea dry, as he says, and become very wealthy, be a fishing merchant, and prove by money and wealth that he's an upstanding citizen. So what does he do? He does just that. He goes out, he gets a boy apprentice, they go out to sea, they're on a vicious schedule, too vicious for a young 10-year-old boy. The town starts to spread rumors again. Peter Grimes is abusing this boy. So a mob starts to rise, and the conflict begins once again. Peter Grimes, in a desperate attempt to not face the town, not confront that, has the boy climb down the cliff to get to their boat so they can rush out to sea. And what happens? The boy slips and falls from the wet rocks, falls to his death. What is Peter Grimes to do now? How is he ever going to explain another death, another boy dying in his service? He's distraught. He doesn't know where to turn. The only answer, it appears, is his own death. And that's the scene we're going to do this evening. It's known as the mad scene from Peter Grimes. Benjamin Britten, the composer, chose very strange orchestration to accompany this scene. There's no violins, there's no trumpets, there's no woodwinds playing. He chose to show Peter Grimes' isolation and solitude and his own madness. An offstage male chorus, female chorus. And the only other accompaniment is a tuba player that is offstage, simulating a foghorn in the distance. Now, this is difficult to comprehend if these things aren't in place, but we're going to attempt to do it for you. Jeremy, play for me what the women sound like. chorus ever says backstage is Grimes, Peter Grimes, playing the men backstage. Peter Grimes. And now the foghorn. This is going to be the only accompaniment to accompany this scene. The notes I'm going to be singing are what Benjamin Britten wrote. It's not improvised. So I need your help in understanding this. Benjamin Britten's Peter Grimes, Act 3, the Mad Scene. Thank you.